Welcome!
Morning, friends. Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. So we are continuing with our DIY series on how to get your display or your large outdoor decoration scene up and running. I've been doing this for 18 years, as I've talked about on a few occasions, and I have learned through trial and error, lots of error. And one of the biggest impacts I made about 7 or 8 years ago was to add video to my display. So basically what I do is I either make my own videos or I'll make a montage or a slideshow or whatever, and then I will sync up music that I want to use for that specific video. I will then sequence that, which will be in another video, how to do that, with Light-O-Rama. And then I cast the video, which is actually the audio track, onto a larger screen. I have my portable screen set up here in my office. Typically, I do it on a 12-foot video screen out in the yard. This year, because we're not going to be in the state of Florida for roughly a third of October, I'm not doing a walkthrough. I'm going to set it up so the whole thing is on each side of my driveway. I have a triple car driveway, wide, and it's about 4 cars long. So I will have various buildings and what have you on each side. Front of my 2 garages will be incorporated, and I have a large bay window in my office that I am going to cast the videos on. So the whole process for that is not as difficult as it sounds. So let me cut off here and jump over and show you what you need to do. Stand by. So basically what you need is your show computer. This is last year's computer. I have a new one set up, but I don't think I'm going to end up using it. This Dell here works fine. There's really no need to switch over to the new smaller computer, which actually has better peripherals. So I'm just going to stick with that. So this is an old Dell laptop. This is my projector. Now this is overkill. This is a Panasonic PT-WR330. This is, when it was new, was a $1,000 projector. I would never even remotely think about spending that much money on a projector for my show, for 2 reasons. You don't need to spend that much money for it, realistically. Unless you're doing a commercial show where you're going to have thousands of people a night. You know, you're kind of the watered down version of Halloween Horror Nights. Yes, then maybe you need to get better quality like this or higher. But for a home haunt or a home Christmas display, you do not. I picked this up for $75 off of a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who was an IT person for one of the larger real estate companies. And every 2 to 3 years, they upgrade their equipment. They sell off or let the employees take the old equipment. And this guy, who was a friend of a friend of a friend type of deal, knew I was looking for a really good projector. And this is what I got. This thing is awesome. It's 3,500 lumens, which is more than sufficient to do what I need to do. It's got every type of hookup that you could think of. It's got a really high-end lens setup that I can zoom in and out, and I can reposition. And then it's got all the controls on one side. The only downside is it's heavy. It's big and it's heavy. But that's okay because I run it out of my barn, or now I'm going to be running it upstairs this year. So you need to get a video cable. However you're going to do it. HDMI is easiest, but it depends on what you have for your computer. So you do an HDMI cable out and into your computer, wherever that may be. Everybody's computer is different. We're going to hook that in. So we've got our computer, we've got our projector, and we have our surface that we're going to be projecting on.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
All right, so we had some technical difficulties, the only way to put it. So we just went over the pieces and parts that you need to get your display synchronized to video. You need your laptop or your desktop. You need your HDMI cable, and you need a projector. Now, projector is going to be subject to budget. The brighter it is, the more doohickeys it has, the more money, obviously. Do you need to spend $1,000 on a projector? No. Is it nice? Maybe in the end. But I don't think this used one that I have works any less than some of these higher end newer ones, to be honest with you. The biggest thing is it's not a short throw. A short throw projector will allow you to have the projector much closer to your video surface than a regular. Like this one, for me to do my 12-foot screen that I had outside last year, I needed to have this projector, I think it was probably about 12 feet back, which is fine because I was running it out of my barn and I had my screen basically taking up the whole doorway of my barn. So my circumstance, that worked fine. If you lived in one of the developments down here in Florida where you stick your head out the window and you're banging your head on your neighbor's house, that's not going to work, obviously. The biggest thing that we can do there is you get a thing called a short throw projector at that point. But this projector here, as I said, I bought used online through Marketplace, and it works great. One of the things I want to go over in a video next week is lumens and the real versus the, for a lack of a better way to put it, the projected lumen count that a lot of these lower end companies that put out projectors will use. There's ANSI lumens, and then there's true lumens. There's a difference between a bulb, which is what this has, a light bulb, and an LED screen, or an LED bulb, I should say. There's a huge difference in the quality that you get. So, all right, so you've got your computer, you've got your cable hooked up to your projector. Go into the middle of your screen, and you're looking for, right click, and you're looking for a thing called display settings. This box will come up, and aptly it's named display. Now, once you turn on your projector, I'm going to lose everything. That's basically what's going to happen. So, stand by. So the screen should be black right now because of the way my screen recorder works. So just give me a moment. All right, so I apologize. If anybody knows of a good, either cheap or better yet free screen recording program, please send me an email or private message me and let me know. I'm going to give it a try. I use CapCut to do a lot of my video editing, and they have a recorder that's built into it. I've tried a couple of other free ones, and quite frankly, they suck. This one has some limitations, and I just have to work within that. All right, so once you get your computer on and it hooks up into your projector, you get this screen here. It goes from having no screen in the middle, and then it identifies you've got two screens. Basically, what this does is it makes your computer think that the projector is a second screen. I have 3 screens on my desktop that I use for all of my editing and doing everything on. And when you do this, it comes up and it says that there's 3. The other thing I do is I do a thing called extending, which basically it makes all 3 screens into one giant screen. Doing that here would do the same thing. You would have your desktop, and then it would extend it onto the video screen that you're using, and it would be one big screen. You don't want to do that when you're doing this type of projecting. So what you do is you leave it on duplicate, and it duplicates, it makes this screen and that screen that's up on the wall, or your video projection material or whatever you're using, it's the same screen. So every time I move the mouse here, I'm watching it move on the screen as well. So that is what you want to do. Now, I'm going to talk about Light-O-Rama real quick in a few minutes. That is a program that we use to synchronize your lights to the music, which you can coincidentally also synchronize to video. You could get your own video program you find online for free or whatever else and put a montage together. And if that program has a scheduling component, you would basically set it up so at 6:30 every night, it starts to do the whole video sequence that you've designed. I don't know what's going on with my computer over there. It's kind of weird. So one of the things that you can do is do a video component of your display that's not synchronized to the music or the lights. That's what I did the first year. I had a bunch of freaky images and some video clips with no sound that was playing, that was casting onto my garage door. It added a cool element, but at the end of the season, I don't know, it's probably about June, I thought to myself, you know what, I think I'm going to synchronize everything to the video, which that process sounds like it's daunting. It's really not. We're going to have a whole, probably a 2-part series on how to do that. But I make my own videos a lot, or I will get videos, sync them all together, and basically come up with my own amalgamation of videos, which I then drop the music into, which I will then sequence. Again, it sounds like it's a whole process. Once you get going with it, it's not bad. So you could set up where you've got your video loop going, no synchronization, and you're all set. You leave your laptop on all the time. You put your projector on a timer, so it comes on a half an hour before your show would start and shuts off a half an hour after your show's done. That'll give it time to warm up and what have you. Then the program takes over, runs your loops, shuts off, you're done. Starts up again tomorrow. Light-O-Rama does that to an extent as well, but it plays your specific sequences, which is your lights are moving to the beat of the music, and then the beat of the music and the lights are synchronized to what's going on in the video. And then that whole process is automated. Basically, you open up the scheduling software with Light-O-Rama, pick your days, your times, hit save, you're done. It takes all of your sequences, whether you've got 6 or 60, puts it into one file, and then it plays all of those videos in order every night the way you want it set up. The way that mine works is my show runs roughly 50 minutes. So every 50 minutes, it loops. You can set it up where it runs 50 minutes. And then I've had it where it's got 10 minutes of a filler video. Basically some thunder and lightning going off and what have you, waiting for the new show to start. You can set all of that up with Light-O-Rama. The other thing you can do with Light-O-Rama is, say you wanted to have, you've got 16 channels on your box. I'm going to go over all of this with another video series we're going to do. So basically it has 16 plugs that come out like at the end of a extension cord. You can take 12 of your channels, have them run lights. Take the other 4 channels and have them trigger animatronic props or floodlights. You want to have blue floodlights during, so a prime example would be red floodlights during the Stranger Things intro if you were doing that. That would be a cool effect. So Light-O-Rama allows you to do a lot of different things with your control unit, and it's all done within the program itself. Again, we're going to go over all of these variants over the next couple of months, getting people ready. The other thing we're doing is I'm giving away 10 fully developed Light-O-Rama sequences for free. All you need to do is like, comment, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. And once you've done that, send me an email or shoot me a private message that you've done it. And I will send you the link to our Google Drive where we're keeping all of these sequences. They have the music. The music is synchronized to video, which is then synchronized up to the Light-O-Rama program. There is no copyright infringement here. A lot of people talk about copyright infringement when you're doing musical and video displays. If you are not profiting from the usage of the quote-unquote intellectual property, there is no violation at that point. There's a thing called fair usage. I run a charity during my Halloween and Christmas display for a place called Sophie's Circle. So there are ways for me to get around even if anything was questioned. I'm not making any money. Anything that's money comes in gets donated. So there are ways around this. But if you're just doing this in the front of your house so people can see, not even Disney's going to come after you. Because I know some people who have amazing displays and they're all based on Disney. If Disney's the biggest curmudgeons on the planet, they're going to come after anybody who they think is chiseling a dollar out of them. So copyright infringement is something you really don't need to think about. So if you want to get your show up and running this year, that is something that we can help you with. So that's getting your projector connected to your computer, which will then allow you to do various options for running videos on some sort of surface. The next video we're going to do, which will be out probably the middle to the end of next week, is going to be how to actually get Light-O-Rama to play this for you. There's a couple settings you have to do, and then for each sequence you have to go through and do some setup. Once it's done, you don't have to do it again. So it's not like every time you want to use this stuff, this has to be done. No, once you do the initial setup, you're all set to go. So like I said, that'll drop probably the end of next week. This weekend, we'll be dropping our video on making our barfing skeleton into a trash bucket. I was able to get my hands on one of these 55-gallon blue plastic buckets that we're going to do a puking skeleton into. We're going to go over that. That'll be this weekend's DIY prop series. So if you like this, by all means, check out all of our socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we're on X. And if you really like it, if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, it'll certainly help us grow and allow us to continue with this type of DIY video series and the different things that we do. So, all right, Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. We certainly appreciate you. You have a good night.